Now, what I don't like here is that, this person is like acting like there was some injustice done to them. That's what I feel like here. So, like I said, there is this feeling of that's not fair for them to look at you as being like overly emotional, but I also think that they took advantage of the fact that you were emotionally invested in them. But you're not playing games coming in with death. Not happening. And with the Four of Cups being the overall, I don't think that you want to be in a place of emotional apathy anymore. Something needs to drastically change. We can't stay this way. But it also says that when it comes to offers in the future, it's not good enough. And you're not going to settle. Now, looking at the Tower and the Four of Pentacles, that to me kind of feels like for you, it's already fallen apart. But with the Four of Pentacles, they don't want that to happen. They're trying to maintain the relationship, but they're not willing to make the changes that are necessary. I really don't think that they're the Queen of Cups in this situation, whether you're male or female. I think that that's you, and I think that the way that they respond to you is negative, and it's amplified with that fucking Five of Swords. But the fight is over what can be rebuilt out of the Tower, but I don't think that you're focused on wanting to rebuild things with them. And I don't think that they're very happy about that at all. But the thing is if you've been in a place of just being, lethargic to everything that was going on with this person, with death, it's like, I kind of feel like you've been complacent, like just letting things slide, letting them do whatever. And then you get to this point now where it's like, oh, hell no, I'm done. But the way that they respond to this is really shitty. And I think that they move into a place where they start to reconsider, how they've acted, their feelings, things like that. Now, let me just say that Ace of Pentacles being on your side could very simply be saying that you've had enough of this. We need to wipe the slate clean here. You have learned a lot with the Page of Pentacles because, again, the student, right, taking in that information here to build something. That Ace of Pentacles could be about you building a better opportunity for yourself. Doesn't necessarily have to be with this person. With the Page of Cups and the Four of Cups, looking at that, it could literally be, you looking at somebody, first of all, who may be younger than you, but somebody who is very emotionally mature. I do think that, there is the communication of emotions here, but for you, it's going to be something that's being restored for you. But I don't feel like it has to do with this person, because with the Hermit coming out, this is where we go our separate ways. But the thing is that the relationship isn't actually over. I think that you move into a place where it's like, just leave me alone, right? And for them, they're looking at it like they're being put in isolation. But that, I say, because of the Five of Swords and because of the fact that when you showed the Tower, it's like, no, I don't want things to change. But you can't do it anymore, right? It's just not good enough anymore with the Four of Cups. It's not. And there is a loss of interest. But I really think that it's unfair for them to look at you as being like overly emotional here with the Queen of Cups. Now, that though could show them possibly here being, very emotionally invested, but not wanting to make the changes that are necessary to keep the relationship from falling apart. But either way, the way that they respond with the Five of Swords, that's bullshit. That's what that is. The thing is, though, is that this isn't good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough to say that, emotions are being restored. It's not good enough that somebody tries to communicate to you the things that they should have communicated before. So I look at the Empress and, Venus, right? I look at this and I think with the Six of Swords that this is one of those things where I don't think it's going to be easy for them to move on because you're a giver or provider here. But the thing is I'm not your mother, right? That's what I feel like looking at this. And I think that for them, doing it on their own or going alone is not going to be an easy thing here. But for them, they're looking at it as the Ten of Swords, like this is bad for them if the relationship ends. And I think that you've been in a place where you've been toying with the idea, but it's not an easy decision to make, right? But we can't stay at the fucking stalemate anymore. You can't stay complacent. You can't do that anymore if you're coming in with death in the tower. And even if they're the reason why things collapsed, they can't try to maintain things the way that they are now if things have changed so drastically. And they can't get upset at you if you're looking at everything going, I've learned a lesson here. I can build something somewhere else. There's a better opportunity for me. And I think that, in terms of this, it may be hard for you to make that choice because that means that this is going to end in a really bad way. But I think more so for them, especially if you've been taking care of them in some way. Now, with the star coming out, though, there's the hope and the healing, definitely. But I also look at that as bigger and better. And I think that they're realizing that, for you, you could have anything you want with that Queen of Wands being there. But then I also worry about, them being like really butthurt about everything, But I would hope that they would at least take into consideration, what has happened in the relationship. But it's not judgment, though, which makes me think that they just kind of like go into this place where they isolate themselves or they blame you for the isolation or for things ending, right? But the thing is I'm looking at this thinking you can do much better than this if you go your own way. And they need to. They need to move on. They're going to have to. It's not going to be easy for them, but the thing is you're not their mom. And I keep wanting to go back to that. Whether you're male or female, whether you're a male taking care of another male or a male taking care of another female, you are the provider with the Empress in a very different way than the Queen of Pentacles, because the Queen of Pentacles is more focused on herself. And not in a selfish way, but creating stability for herself and the people that are close to her. The Empress is very giving, very caring, very nurturing, very mothering, right? Providing something for them that is not going to be easy for them to replace. So you can't control what happens with the situation, no. And if you try to control it, it may be one of those things where you're not going to get the kind of offer that you expect from this person, because they clearly have hurt you in some way. Now, let's say that for some of you, you are single, but you're still really, bitter about an ex, because that is the Queen of Swords, right? She's still focused on this person, how this person hurt her. And looking at the Six of Pentacles, this is because you feel like you've been neglected. That is why, you're in this place now where we're single. Now, any offers that come through to you, you're denying. With the High Priestess, we're talking about, the things that you're like secretly hoping for, right? Or secrets like being revealed. But the thing is I think for you, it's more about like bottling up things. And it's almost like you look at everybody like they're not really telling the truth about themselves, if that makes sense. And that's why we're not like accepting any offers from anybody. Now, if you're dealing with the ex that hurt you and neglected you, this is one of those things where it's like, I know your secrets, and that's why I'm not accepting you. But if you continue to try to control the situation in that way, I think that what's going to happen is that person is, clearly feeling a lot of love for you and wanting to be romantic and wanting to show love, but they're going to choose to offer you something completely different than what you expected. It's almost like they don't want to get back together now because you shot them down. So for those of you who are dealing with a person like this, but you still want them, would be careful about how you respond to something that's being offered to you, because it's like, here's the romance, here's the love. I have a lot of love for you, but I also have respect for you, considering that, this is the way that you felt, but this is what I'm offering you now. No more roses, but here's a peace offering, so to speak. And then death, and that's what I'm talking about. It's final at that point. The Eight of Swords, if you're not comfortable with how things went in the past, I think that this is something that you can't keep to yourself. You're going to have to talk about it, because the devil is showing up here, which to me is saying that you may have been dealing with a situation where this person really hurt you because they followed a temptation somewhere else and left you feeling like you were being neglected. Sorry, guys. And I understand why you're in a place where you're not really like open to accepting anything from them. But if you have an ex coming back that you really want, I would be careful about how you respond. You may be uncomfortable, and it may be one of those things where we need to open up and speak the truth. But the thing is if you try to control, like I said, the situation this way, it's done. The relationship changes. Where it may have been romantic, now it's, let's at least be friends. And I feel like this is going to be about a person who's hurt you in a pretty bad way, and not to diminish the pain here, but the thing is if that is the past, then it needs to stay in the past. But I don't think it's that easy for you to let go of, And then that fucking card is pissing me off something fierce this time. Why? The Page of Wands. Some people don't see that as a bad thing. And I don't think it necessarily has to be. But this is about somebody who needs to look past appearances before they can allow themselves to get caught up in the passion that they have. But what is it that we need to look past? So for me, I'm immediately like, well, then what is it? Can we just let that go and get wrapped up in this person? Because clearly there's love. There's an emotional connection with the Queen of Cups. Okay. So you come into this where somebody is having a hard time expressing how they feel. And that may be because they feel inadequate. Now that could be you or your partner. The Five of Swords is about overcoming feelings of inadequacy. You may not feel good enough. They may make you feel like you're not good enough, and that's something that needs to be expressed, but that's not an easy topic to bring up. With Strength and the Empress, I think that for you, it's not so much about temptation. I know I see the huge fucking snake there, but again, with the Empress, right? Like, I don't know. I kind of get the feeling that for some of you, you're trying to find the strength to break yourself free of this rather than trying to find the words to express to this person. Because the thing is you don't want to feel that way. You want to feel good about yourself. Because these two are on two total opposite ends. It's one thing to feel like shit all the time, and it's another to feel like you are sitting on your throne. Again, whether you're male or female here. But that's where you're at. You want to feel good about yourself. Now, I think that once you start to feel better here, the love starts to come up. But again, what the fuck is it that we need to look past? And then the Six of Swords. So yeah, somebody is trying to bridge the distance with you. Maybe it's either about you or your partner. You need to look past this idea of not being good enough. And the thing is somebody is having difficulty saying what they see in the relationship. Because with the Seven of Cups, it's good, right? Even though it's the realm of fantasy and possibility, it's still, we're looking at, the best possible relationship. But it's not being realized here, but it's because somebody doesn't feel good enough. And I do think it has to do with appearances. And that may cause like a rift between you and your partner here, and maybe that's what you need to break free from, not necessarily the relationship. Can we look past the issues that are preventing you from being in this relationship that's otherwise very happy, And the Six of Swords, somebody's trying to bridge that distance with you, but you've got to look past those issues, right? And take back control of your life in a way where you feel good about you. Because clearly there's love here. I mean, I see it. I just see somebody having a really hard time expressing it. It's like they fumble words, and it's like, if you could just see what I see and not what you see, So this doesn't look bad at all, Libra.